Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Ghoul MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. And, we'll save it for later. I was going to say something, but I'm going to hold off. Don't want to embarrass a certain panelist because he just cracked an exclusive club here today, but I'll leave that as it may. And we're just going to dive right into our favorite topic, wrestling. Of course, we got NXT and we also got AEW Dynamite. So let's just dive right on in. We're going to start out with NXT per the usual. That was held last night. And yeah, here we go. So with that said, let me just get my notes. Hopefully it pops. Hopefully I get it in just a matter of moments. There we go. All right. So we started it off with a promo segment. Oh, actually, no, it was an in-ring match as it was Mustafa Ali versus Axiom. And when it was all said and done, Mustafa Ali winning the match in 10 minutes and 12 seconds, which was a fine matchup and everything else. A good, I want to say about a good about a 2.5 to 3 star bout. And big win for Mustafa. You know, keeps himself in line, getting an opportunity to fight for the title for the North American Championship. Look, it looked like it was going to be a great match on paper. Unfortunately, that did not really turn up the way we thought it was going to turn up. And I mean, it was fine for what it was worth, but it was kind of one of those that we'll have to wait and see how it goes around. But yeah, solid match. But there was a moment I don't like it. You know where I'm going with this. Ali unmasking Axiom. Major no. You already know how that goes. But yeah, it is what it is. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. First off, I'm on my mobile device this evening because my internet app's not opening. So
Okay,
I
fair
gotta have
enough.
yeah. So I'm just gonna have to. I'm just waiting for this thing to load here. But yeah. This was a solid opener here, no question about it. This is about maybe 3.25 for this one. Two good high flyers here going at it, and I always talk about it. I always say, not just on pay-per-view, but also on TV, you always want to start the show, in a hot way, and someone that'll get the crowd going, get them cranked for the show, and this is the perfect match to do that with. And it's about 3 to 3.25. I'm not surprised Ali went over because he's right around that North American Championship picture right now. He wants a shot at the North American Championship. I mean, he had his opportunity at the Great American Bash, but unfortunately that did not work out. But nonetheless, hold on. Something's coming up here. All right. It's not the traditional app I use, but it's a little different. So I will have to do a computer restart on this to get what I really want. But anyways, I do have this one for now. Even without a strong story, Axiom and Ali delivered in the opener. Luckily, scripts did not get fully involved, allowing the two to sell their work in the ring. Ali has done great work selling himself as a veteran, unafraid to take a shortcut without losing the fans. He is one of the most popular stars in front of this NXT crowd, even after using a cheap shot to win. He will do well as the next challenger for the North American Championship. He has proved time and again that he will deliver with the spotlight he is given. Axiom does the same, but needs to get beyond his current feud before going after gold. Scripps appeared on the ramp to distract Axiom after he sent Ali into the announce table with a head scissors takedown of the apron. Bronco Nima and Lucien Price came out to back up Scripps, almost costing Ali the win. Ali caught Axiom with a jackhammer. The superhero responded with a Canadian destroyer and moonsault to the floor. And after his win, you heard Ali say it. He declared he was next in line for a title shot, and the crowd was fully behind him. So he said it was about 10 minutes or so. So I'll give it about 3.25 for this one. So there isn't much more for me to add to this. So Phenom, Michael Bullock, Mr. NXT, come on in. It's all yours. Mustafa Ali. He made his intentions clear. He wants that North American Championship.
Yeah, he definitely wants the North American Championship. Whoever comes out of this, whether it's Dragon Lee or Dirty Dom, or as Florio and I like to call him, Dum Dum. But you'll have to find out later. But I'll give this about 3.25 as well. I mean, a solid match to start off NXT, and yeah, I'm with Fletch on this one. I mean, Mustafa Ali pulling off the mask. That to me, that is a major no-no as well. I mean, that is a tradition. It's a sense of pride when you wear that mask. I mean, yes, this one was bad, but I'll tell you guys, there was one that was worse than what we saw, and that was earlier this year when Dominic Mysterio, not only he had Rey Mysterio's, another edition of Rey Mysterio's mask, but he ripped it. I mean, that to me was far worse than this one. I mean, it's one thing to take a person's mask off, but to rip it off like that is the most unforgivable sin that you can commit. So, yeah, 3 stars for me on this one, and yeah, Mustafa Ali's going to find out later on who he'll face off against. So there's nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Next up we have was Blair Davenport versus Kelani Jordan. It was Blair Davenport, 334. We don't really need to talk much about it. Unfortunately, Dana Brooke reading Kelani the Riot Act. I don't know if that was really generally the right thing to do. I think it kind of, I don't know, it didn't really rub me the right way either on that one. And I love Dana, but nah, I don't know. So next up we have was Tyler Bate versus Noam Dar for Noam Dar's version of the Heritage Cup. And the winner of the bout, it was in the 5th round, 2 minutes and 24 seconds of the 5th round. It was Tyler Bate winning. Let me see. Was it Tyler Bate? Yes, it was indeed Tyler Bate winning Noam Dar's version of the Heritage Cup. Anthony Florio, it is all yours. Tyler Bate wins it in the 5th round.
Few men understand the round format like Noam Dar and Tyler Bate, who are both former Heritage Cup champions. It showed in a wild 5-round bout with plenty of twists and turns. While Bate started strong and began wearing out, Dar got stronger and more confident. However, he got too cocky in the last stretch and has lost his quote-unquote baby once again. This has now set up a complicated Heritage Cup scene. The NXT universe still hasn't seen Nathan Frazier versus Noam Dar or Tyler Bate for that trophy, and both of those matches should and will be phenomenal. For each round break, Dar was fanned by metaphor, while Bate just focused on himself. Bate nearly got the second win in the 3rd round off a big right hand, but time expired. The big strong boy hurt his left knee on a bad landing in the 3rd, and Dar began kicking at the injury in the 4th, followed by a knee bar that shifted the pace. And then later, Tyler Bate gave Noam Dar back the Heritage Cup once Nathan Frazier agreed to face the Scottish Supernova at Heatwave in 2 weeks. And Frazier also agreed that he owed Tyler Bate. So we got some good things coming up with that Heritage Cup, I'm telling you. It's going to start at Heatwave when Nathan Frazier squares off against Noam Dar. That's August 22nd, oh, by the way, 2 weeks from last night. So that's the 22nd of August right there. And then Frazier, and I wouldn't be surprised if Frazier comes out of that, and then we get Frazier versus Bate. Yowza, that's going to be something. So, do you have a total time of that, MF, or not really?
There is no total time. All I just have is that
It was in the 5th round.
It was round number 5 in 2 minutes and 24 seconds in the 5th round. So just
gotcha.
Do your math, but the thing is, you can't do total time because remember, the first fall ended pretty early. Second fall, the time fall occurred at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay, so round 1 went the distance. Round 2 was 42 seconds in round 2. That's where Tyler Bate got the win there. Then round 3 went the distance. Round 4 was 2 minutes and 20 seconds. In round number 4, that gave us the tie. And then Tyler Bate won the 5th and final, won the match in the 5th round at 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
I can give it 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I mean, it was a very good match. I mean, it's definitely, you could definitely make an argument for Fight of the Night honors. So I pretty much already said what I needed to. So yeah, 3.5, 3 3/4. I think that's the best rating I can give this because it was a fun match. So there isn't much more to say. Michael Bullock, Heritage Cup. I mean, Tyler Bate won Noam Dar's Cup. He gave Noam Dar's Cup back in a backstage segment. You know, Nathan Frazier said, "Okay, I'll defend the real one against you at Heatwave on the 22nd of August." And he also said, "Tyler Bate, I owe you too." So get ready for some exciting Heritage Cup bouts over the next couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, both of those should be a dandy when you got Nathan Frazier, Noam Dar, and Tyler Bate here. So yeah, this is definitely going to make for some fun matches these next 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll give this about maybe 3.5 stars as well. I mean, yeah, I thought it was good. So can't wait to see what these next 2 weeks are going to bring. So it is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. Definitely a great matchup. Like we said, Tyler Bate did what he had to do. He got the job done. It was a big win for him. And like you said, Noam Dar versus Nathan Frazier is going to be a banger, man. That's going to be a great match. And then whoever wins that gets Tyler Bate. I mean, you're talking about 3 men who has held the Heritage Cup. So I mean, yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing. I like the rounds format. I wish they let the fans more know or really kind of make more of an investment. Let the fans know what's really going on with these matches, how it's played out, how it, what it's supposed to look like. But at the end of the day, I got no arguments here. So then we had a little bit of a lot of backstage stuff after that, including a new interviewer for NXT, Kelly Kincaid, a.k.a. Quinn McKay from Ring of Honor, formerly of Ring of Honor, former women's champion, one of my personal favorites. Oh, I'm so happy she's in NXT, man. Treat her right, Bullock. That's all I'm saying. I hope you treat her right. That's all I'm saying. And then, much to the surprise of everybody, we had Rey Mysterio in the house. Ray showing some love to the NXT. So we had that Braun Breaker versus Von Wagner, and it was Braun Breaker at 513. Braun was trying to, he got a win, but boy, did he pay a price trying to pick a fight with Mr. Robert Stone. Von Wagner got him and put some through a table. Oh my God! Anyway, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Man, Fletch, you just made my night with that, with channeling your inner Joey Styles with that. Yeah, I'll give this about maybe 1.5 stars on this one. I mean, it was fine for what it was. I mean, But something tells me that the feud here between Braun Breaker and Von Wagner is far from over after this. So we'll see what happens with that. So I'm not going to get too much into it because there was really, like I said, it was fine. Nothing really that amazing about it. So it's your Sledge.
Sure, that was a good. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I actually I actually did not have any problem with it. Of course, it gets heat on Braun Breaker, which is fine. I think he definitely deserves the heat and everything else. But at the end of this is a big win for Braun Breaker, getting him back on the good side. But it was short lived because once he went after Mr. Robert Stone, that actually triggered Von Wagner. Wagner got even, and that NXT crowd at the CWC was yelling, table, 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 table. Sure enough, the announce table was there. Boom! Right through we went, much to the delight of the fans. And let me just say, I'm not really too mad that that happened. So, no, not at all. Well, Florio, it's yours.
What are we talking about here?
Wagner and Braun Breaker. Breaker winning at 513.
Okay. Wagner tried his best against a man who was far more credible than him. However, this was the most competitive he has looked with Breaker, and this was their best match, but that's not a high bar. This did not quite have the same crowd investment as recent segments in which Wagner destroyed his opponents, though the NXT universe did pop big when Breaker went through the table. If this is leading to Breaker versus Wagner in a tables match that the latter can actually win, it may be all worth it here. In an interview, Wagner promised to put Breaker through a table in their match. The former NXT champion was not impressed on his way to the ring. The crowd was more interested in getting tables involved than the actual action, though. That was because Wagner kept teasing sending Breaker through it. And Eddie Thorpe talked about refocusing himself in nature before a rematch with Dijak. But that's probably something I should have left out. But other than that, I'll give it about 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 for the effort. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Bullock led off. So it's back to me.
Okay,
And
Okay.
it's okay.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
okay. It's okay. No problem. No problem. I know you're still working through the cell phone, so it's kind of a little more different. So that's all right. No problem. Charlie Dempsey, Andrew Gulak versus Brooks and Jansen. Briggs and Jansen, I should say. And it was Dempsey and Gulak winning at 547. Maybe we might have just found possibly next challengers for the tag team titles. If Dempsey and Gulak keep going, I think the family might want to keep their eyes open and have their eyes in the back of their heads because Gulak and Dempsey's been looking really good lately. Big win for them, taking out former tag champions Anthony Floyo in a solid 3-star bout, and it is yours.
Absolutely. We're talking about the tag match, right? Dempsey and Gulak with Briggs and Jensen?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Fine display by all, but the match was too short for the talent involved. The ending was obvious, but sets up Damon Kemp to work with the established heels. Hopefully, this can get all three back to winning matches. Briggs and Jensen have lost some steam recently after being one of the hottest tag teams at the time of Stand and Deliver in April. NXT cannot afford to lose track of them. And Gulak and Dempsey made fun of Hank and Tank until Jensen and Briggs challenged them. Kemp was ignored by the heels when offering help. And Miles Bourne lowered the ropes for his teachers and stood in their corner. Gulak sent him to the back after he said he didn't have water, but nothing really to speak of much here. About 2.5 to 3 for the effort. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Oh, what did you give it?
I think he said 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, 2.5 to 2.5 is my rating, and yeah, I mean, a big win for Dempsey and Gulak. I mean, yeah, I mean, if they keep this momentum going, who knows? They could get a future shot at the tag title. So we'll wait and see what happens. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right, next up we had was Kiana James going one-on-one with Ivy Nile. Kiana James winning the match, 7 minutes, 41 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Okay. Solid match that showcased the growth of both Kiana James and Ivy Nile in the ring. If not for the Schism interference, this could have reached a much higher level. For the story, though, it made sense. Schism continued to demand the Creed's location, but the Creeds should soon be back. For the moment, the Dyad will get an NXT Tag Team title shot out of this. Kiana James started fast, throwing her bag at Ivy Nile and attacking her with focus. This included sending her left shoulder into the steel post. Schism appeared with a group of masked men to surround the ring. They then began pounding on the apron in unison. And that's really all there is to say here. 2.5, 2 3/4 for the match. And I believe next week we're going to see the Tag Team Championship matchup with the Schism challenging D'Angelo and Lorenzo. So that should be an interesting match. So especially if we get to see a little more of that grizzled old veteran style out of Fowler and Reed. So we'll see what happens. So 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star for this effort. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yeah, 2.5 for. Yeah, I'll give this about maybe 1.5 to 2 on this one. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Kiana James definitely took advantage of the situation with Ivy Nile and the Schism. I mean, especially them demanding where the Creeds are. I mean, yeah, I mean, I thought they were gone from NXT. Well, obviously. Obviously the Schism doesn't buy it, but then again, when you got that nut job and Joe Gacy, who knows what goes through that with that man's mind? And last thing I want to do is go through his mind and find out what he's thinking. Because
no.
Yeah, you just basically made Fletch. So, but then again, who else? I mean, who wants to know what goes through the mind throughout the entire Schism? Not just Joe Gacy and the Dyad, but also Ava Rain too. But yeah, I think it's best to let's just say I'll just leave it alone.
That one alone. Yeah,
because I'll probably have some freaking nightmares about it. So it's yours, Fletch.
well said, no doubts. I'm not even gonna argue that. It was about 2 1/4, 2.5. It was a very good match, say the very least, and there's really nothing more to add here. So, yeah. On to the main event, as it was Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee for the North American title. Dominic Mysterio gets the job done, successfully defends the title, and well, I'm going to say it. Laura Valkyria basically made it abundantly clear. She wanted Rhea Ripley not to get involved in that fight and everything else, but Rhea did. She got involved. She cost Dragon Lee the match. And then when it looked like that Ray came out, then the next thing you know, it looked like, Ray and Dom were going to get at it. Laura Valkyria showed up. She wipes out Rhea Ripley. And yeah, so you had Dragon Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Laura Valkyria in the ring all together at the end of the show, man. That was actually quite a scene, to say the very least. So Michael Bullock, it's yours as Dum Dum, as you guys like to call him. Dominic Mysterio is still your NXT North American champion.
What was the time, Fletch?
11 minutes and 43 seconds.
Yeah, I'll give this about 3.5 stars. I mean, it was a solid match. I mean, but come on, guys. I mean, did you really think Rhea Ripley was going to listen to Lyra Valkyria and basically say, let Dom go on his own? Did you really think she was going to listen to it?
I think she probably thought about it for a moment or two, but then when she saw that Dragon Lee was getting the upper hand, it was like, screw it.
I'm not surprised with it. Come on, this is Rhea Ripley we're talking about, especially with the Judgment Day. I think their MO is like, you make the rules, and we will break every single one of them.
Yeah, but
So,
it did cost her. But her
yeah,
discretion actually came back to bite her because Lara was not too happy.
Yeah, she was pissed about it, and yeah, and basically took it out on her. So, could we see a possible Rhea Ripley against Lyra Valkyria? I think I could see it happening, and I think I could see it happening at maybe at Heat Wave. I mean, we'll have to wait and see on that, but you knew Dom was gonna find some way to win this one, even after his dad tried to stop him from stealing it, but obviously, thanks to mommy, uh, he got the win here. But there's one thing that Dominic said. I don't know if it was on social media or an interview that really irked me. Dominic Mysterio claims that he is the greatest luchador of all time. Fletch, you're the.
Man,
you know
I
everything
know.
about lucha.
When it comes to lucha libre, man, that's not even close. Dominic, you got a long way to go if you want the true answer to that, Michael Bullock. If you want to know who the greatest luchador of all time, Mil Mascaras. That's the one. He performed in the 1997 Royal Rumble match, but the thing is, this guy was a legend in the 1970s and the 1980s. He wrestled in Mexico or CMLL because there was no AAA at the time. CMLL was the company, and he also wrestled for a time in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Mil Mascaras. But the thing is, his legend is he's the godfather of Lucha Libre, where Rey Mysterio is a legend and the Mysterio name is synonymous. The Guerrero name is legendary. Mil Mascaras. Oh my God. I mean, I could go for days if I wanted to about it.
Yeah,
I could go full professor mode, but as far as what Dominic is saying, look, you done good, you done fine, but you still got a long way to go before you can call yourself the greatest luchador of all time.
Right now, he shouldn't even be in the conversation.
He's nowhere close to that conversation. I mean, when you got
and think of some of the current luchador wrestlers that are still out there. I mean, especially over in AEW, the Lucha Bros.
Yep, I can give you Lucha Bros. I can give you Lucha Bros. I can give you El Hijo del Vecino. I can give you Cibernetico when he was out there, he was still killing it. Man, right now, Psycho Clown of the Psycho Circus is a big name right now. Not Dr. Wagner Jr. He got unmasked. He lost his mask, but he was still Alberto El Patron, Alberto Del Rio. He was actually pretty big over there. I mean, there's quite a few names I could just pull off the top of my head right now that is better than Dominic Mysterio. But yeah, he's nowhere close.
For you to even to say that, you know what? In the immoral words of Michael Wildon, get out. That's how I'd say it. Get out with that.
Yep.
So 3.5 stars. Yeah, greatest luchador of all time.
Yeah, not even close.
I could say something else. I'm not gonna go there. So please, it's your Sledge.
Please. Yep. And I think I know where and I think I know where you were going, Michael Bullock. To please refrain from that. I agree. 3.5 stars. You can even make an argument for a fight of the night. It was a solid match. It was a good battle. Yes, Rhea shows up, interferes. We kind of knew that was coming. Um, it did take away from the ending, but at the end of the day, it was fine. It was a good matchup. Um, I really got nothing more to say, but I do like what we're gonna get because it looks like Rhea Ripley versus Laura Valkyria is possibly going to happen, which means we might even get ourselves possibly a WWE Women's World Title fight on NXT. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible. Um, Even though I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, Lara doesn't deserve it, or Rhea's probably going to go over easily. But still, you give us Lara Valkyria versus Rhea Ripley for the women's world title, that will bring some credibility, and that probably brings some eyes on the TVs for fans to watch that NXT show in a couple of weeks if they do it. Because I mean, the last time we had a big fight like that was when Seth freaking Rollins fought Braun Breaker, and that match was for the World Heavyweight Championship. We were like, what? Okay, let's go. So we might have it again. Anthony Florio, you might be loaning that women's world title to Michael Bullock, letting him have that match on his show NXT in a couple of weeks.
I would not mind it at all. You guys know how high I am on Valkyria in the first place, so I'd be all for it. But 3.5 stars here. WWE has Dirty Dom or Dum Dum working overtime lately, and it's paying off. He gets better with each big match. While the challenger helped, Dominic looked like more of a true champion than he ever has so far, like him or not. Especially in NXT, he looks like a world beater, working main event angles with the rising stars of the brands to elevate them. Dragon Lee got his biggest match in NXT yet, and this may not be the end of this story. It also looks like Rhea Ripley versus Lyra Valkyria is far from over, which is really valuable for the Valkyrie. If this can get her on Raw in a title match, it will instantly build her credibility. Ray congratulated, Ray was there throughout the night. He congratulated Roxanne Perez and gave Thea Hale a pep talk backstage. And Valkyria called out Rhea Ripley for manipulating her into doing what the Eradicator wanted. The master of the 619 talked up Dragon Lee before he headed to the ring. And while Ripley and Ray stared each other down, Dragon caught Dirty Dom with a baseball slide. And without hesitation, Dom tried to rip off the mask of the luchador. But a very good match here, 3.5 stars. And I think right now the first step is probably a mixed tag team match. We're probably going to see Dominic and Rhea going up against Dragon Lee and Lyra Valkyria, and Rhea and Dom could have Judgment Day in their corner, whereas Ray will be in the corner of Dragon Lee and Lyra Valkyria. So that's all I can say here. So 3.5 overall review time.
In one way, it was a back to reality NXT, and Anthony Florio, Yulito. Actually, no, it is me. Look, it was somewhat of a back to reality NXT, but it wasn't the worst. Yes, last week was bad. This one was a little better, not too much better, but it was a little. You could easily make it 50-50, say 5 out of 10. I wouldn't be mad. 5 to 5.5. But I think you're starting to get at least a little bit of some storyline progression. The Heritage Cup looks like we got some real legit contenders now. We got some meat on that bone there. So it looks like we can work with something there. Obviously, the big story is, of course, the Judgment Day, Dominic and Rhea. It looks like they got 2 possible challengers now. We also got looks like an opening for the tag team division. Like we said, Schism looks like they're going to be there, but look out! Don't look now. But here comes possibly Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak. They might be the next challengers if Schism does not get the belts, which we don't believe they will. So we got that going on. So all in all, not bad. It could be better, but at the end of the day, it was a fine show. So nothing more to say. And Anthony Florio, it's yours. 5 to 5.5 is my rating.
I'm going to go a little higher, MF. I'm going to give it because the consensus I saw was giving this about 6 to 6.5. And I think that's where I'm going to go. I do agree, nothing on NXT was truly earth shattering. I will give you that. This was a much better showcase of the roster than last week. From the opener to the main event, everyone worked hard. Mustafa Ali versus Axiom was probably the fight of the night, though both Noam Dar versus Tyler Bate and Dominic Mysterio versus Dragon Lee weren't far behind. Those were the three big fights of last night's show. Stories have kicked off for the build, the Heat Wave, which means there is forward momentum again on the brand. Promised matches such as Ilya Dragunov versus Trick Williams and Nathan Frazier versus Noam Dar have serious potential. The Judgment Day continue to bring more eyes to the product, particularly Dirty Dom and Rhea Ripley. It is important right now that the product feels hot and worth watching each week. And this show gave off that feeling without delivering anything that can be done again next week. So slight disagreement. I'll give it about 6.5. That's the consensus I was seeing. So I think that's about right. So between 6 and 6.5, Mr. NXT, Michael Bole, take it home, and then we'll get into AEW Dynamite.
Yeah, what did you give it, Florio?
6.5.
I'll give it 6. I mean, I'm not going to say it was the greatest. I thought it was good enough for it to be a passable show. So, yeah, there were some things I thought it could have been. Both things. I mean, there were some things that could have been better, but I thought it was good enough. So there's really nothing more to say except Fletch. Let's get on to tonight's edition of AEW Dynamite.
AEW Dynamite, and here we go. We started, we were from the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. And here we go. We started off with the Jericho Appreciation Society. This mandatory meeting. Wow, is all I can say. Everybody had a moment in here. We finally had everybody speak their mind to Jericho about what's been going on. And look, Jericho thought, he's like, all right, guy, he thought it was all fun and games because of the fact that they called the meeting without him and everything else. But then it got real. It got real. You had Daniel Garcia, then you had Ty Mello, Jake Hager, everybody, Anna JAS, Parker, Matt Menard, and then Sammy Guevara was the last one to say what they needed to say. Very, very, very effective promos by everybody involved. And as you saw, it made it abundantly clear what Jericho has been doing was, to align himself with a rat, and to see the damage that he has caused. I don't know if Jericho realizes the damage he's done until now, because he's already said he's going to make his decision, that he's already made up his mind, and next week we're going to find out what that answer is going to be. If the JAS is still going to be a whole, or is Jericho going to leave and leave the crew and leave them high and dry? And it was very, very, very interesting, to say the very least. And it was effective promo. And I loved everybody that was talking, from Anna J to Ty Mello. And Mello said something that was very true and very apropos. She's like, I'm going to have my baby when I'm going to come back. And when I do come back, I'm winning a championship without you. I kind of heard that, and I was like, wow, that's actually pretty strong from Ty. Anna J, same thing. I would like for her to go back. Honestly, I would love for Anna to go back to the Dark Order. I think she was better with the Dark Order more than anything else. Even though I think the Dark Order kind of is now, I don't know where they stand in the fold of AEW. They you were like one of the most powerful groups, and then yes, I know after Mr. Brody Lee passed away, it kind of took a hit, but you started to notice members were flying the coop left and right. I really wish the Dark Order would have stayed intact. I mean, the legacy of Mr. Brody Lee was there. He was there, and especially with Ty and Anna Jay and -1 and that very close knit crew. I'll say the very least. So I don't know. We'll wait and see how it plays out, but this was really strong, and I was very impressed with this storyline. There's really nothing more to say, Anthony, as Jericho's going to answer Don Callis next week if he's joining the Callis family, or I don't know what's going to happen, man. But he said he's made up his mind, so I guess we'll find out.
Well, it was a short, succinct promo segment that did not overstay its welcome, and in the process provided the undeserved members of the faction the opportunity to express themselves on the microphone here. Parker and Menard, talented talkers who have proven it at every stop of their careers, shine brightest here with some genuinely emotional stuff. They accomplished as much as any creative decision since the start of the Jericho Don Callis stuff to this point. Sammy Guevara was the star here, finally standing up to a man he has been indelibly linked with since day one of AEW Dynamite, and from a position of power, teasing that he might be around if Jericho needs him. Solid stuff with some good individual work, even if the overall story itself feels rushed. And then, like MF said, after the commercial break, Chris Jericho told Don Callis he has an answer for him, and he will announce it next week. And some of the moments here, Daniel Garcia saying, "Would you please stop talking for a minute and listen to us?" And that's what Garcia, he cut off Jericho before explaining that he chose Jericho over every single time, but did not understand why the Ocho never chose him. Garcia walked out on Jericho, and Jake Hager followed suit, but not before admitting that he liked that hat. Mello and Jay walked out too, scoffing at the idea that Jericho was responsible for their career growth. And Parker said, "I've given you everything I have, but what have you given me? I don't want to do this, but I've got nothing left to give you, man." And then Menard emotionally told the story of Jericho bringing him into his home and getting him a job, but then admitted he knows why the guys who brought him up in wrestling, Eddie Kingston and Kevin Steen, hate him. And Guevara concluded the exodus, claiming that he might be there for Jericho if he figures himself out. So next week's going to be very telling as to the future of the JAS, if it's going to disband or if there's a possible Swerve Bro moment here. So, we're just going to have to wait and find out. But good segment here. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a strong, promo. I mean, basically, it wasn't long, but it was short, sweet, and to the point. I mean, every member of the Jericho Appreciation Society basically vented their frustration with the way Jericho has been, especially hanging around Don Callis. And I mean, they basically gave their all to join this the Jericho Appreciation Society. So it's like, what's going on? It's like, why are you doing this to us? And yeah, Jericho says he does have an answer, and we're gonna find out next week. So the future of the Jericho Appreciation Society will hinder on next week. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Time for some in-ring action as we started off with the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. They went up against the Hardys, and the Young Bucks winning the match in 11 minutes and 15 seconds. So, Anthony Florio, it's yours.
3 1/4, 3 1/2 for this one. I don't really have much to say about the match. I mean, it was a fine match from what it was, featuring two of the defining tag teams of their era. But the Bucks fended off the onslaught, scored the win with a BTE trigger to Matt, but it was the post-match confrontation with AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR and the acceptance of the title holders challenge for a match at All In. That was the biggest takeaway. That match, arguably one of the most anticipated in all of AEW, strengthens the August 27th card and gives fans the latest chapter in a rivalry it has proven to be red hot for in its previous incarnations. On top of that, the match is going to be hella fun and a match of the year candidate, barring any major injury or unforeseen circumstance. Excalibur touting the Hardys work smarter, not harder is the nicest, most accurate way of saying these aren't the guys you remember. Jeff may lack the explosion he once had, but his ability to pop the crowd off a hot tag and have them believing after a swanton bomb, even though the outcome is fairly obvious, will forever be impressive. And the Bucks put over the Hardys, showing them, the proper respect and all that at the end, fun little moment at the end. The Bucks put over the Hardys, showing them respect after pinning Matt following the BTE trigger. So a 3.25, 3.5 star effort. It's obvious not the best match between these two. MF, I know you saw the match that those two had. I believe it was the night before WrestleMania 33.
Yes.
That ladder war, was it?
Oh my God, what a war. What a match.
I'll take it you see.
Yes. It was 5-star. And I'll even go as far to say it was possibly the best match of the WrestleMania weekend. In the entire WrestleMania weekend, that was possibly the best fight of them all. So, yeah, that tells you everything.
You sold me. Mm-hmm. So that's all there is to say there. So 3.25, 3.5, obviously not the best match between them, but it was still a very good match. Nothing will ever top that ladder war match they had in the night before WrestleMania 33 when the Hardys made their grand return to WWE. So not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3.25, 3.5. I mean, definitely not the best match between them, but it was still a good match, no doubt about it. And I liked at the end how they gave the Young Bucks gave the Hardys the respect they deserve, and and now officially at All In, the Young Bucks and FTR for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Oh man, I cannot wait for this. I mean, it should be something, as Booker T would say, it should be something good. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, we'll wait and see how it goes down. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah. All right. So next up, right after that, let's see. Our next match was Jack Perry versus Rob Van Dam for the FTW title. And it was Jack Perry winning the match in 9 minutes and 25 seconds. So, Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Despite not regularly competing at this advanced point in his career, RVD, the Hall of Famer, looked solid here, and the match was perfectly timed and constructed not to expose any of his weakness. RVD still possesses impressive athleticism, and it was on display here, but this was the Jack Perry show. He is a young performer, no longer finding his feet as a heel, but rather embracing the role. He was great here. The crowd reacted exactly as he wanted, and the result was one of those performances that will be looked back on as a defining moment. Perry, and you noticed he it was a little homage to Jerry Lynn. Perry entered the arena sporting a pair of tights identical to those worn by Jerry Lynn during his days in ECW and his epic series of matches with RVD. Again, MF could tell you stories on that. I know you remember those fights, MF. I'm sure you do. Mm-hmm. So, and the heel heat is off the charts for Jack Perry, proof that this persona has connected with audiences in rather short order. Solid 3 stars for this effort here, and you now have to consider this the biggest win of Jack Perry's career when you beat a guy the caliber of Rob Van Dam, who inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2021. as part of WrestleMania 37. Of course, you know everything he did. You know that epic reign with the television championship, that 900 or plus, that epic reign. MF knows that. MF knows that as well. So, with that TV championship in ECW. Of course, WWE was where he had his most success, you know, winning the WWE Championship, the Intercontinental Championship, the Tag Team Championship, the ECW Championship, and of course, a former Mr. Money in the Bank as well. So, and when you think about the body of work of RVD all these years from ECW, WWE, oh yeah, and of course, let's not forget, also a former TNA Impact Heavyweight Champion as well. So, RVD's almost done it all. And for Jack Perry to beat a guy like him tonight, how can you not consider that the biggest win of his career to this point? Unless bigger and better things happen for him down the road, which they could. You never know. Well, we'll wait and see. So solid 3 stars here. Michael Bullock, without a doubt, the biggest win of Jack Perry's career, beating a guy the caliber of Rob Van Dam after all those accomplishments I just listed off. How can it not be the biggest win?
I definitely gotta say it is the biggest win for Jack Perry. I mean, when you beat someone like a legend like Rob Van Dam, I mean, you definitely are making a name for yourself. So, yeah, 3 stars on this one. I mean, Jack Perry continues to build that heat ever since they turned him heel, and it's really continued to work out well for him. So, 3 stars. It is your Sledge.
Yeah, it was a 3-star bout. It was a fine match too. I mean, like you said, Jack Perry's starting to form his own and starting to go, a little bit crazy with everything going on. So yeah, we'll wait and see how it plays out. It's going to be very interesting to watch. The one thing I have a little concerned about is RVD. Don't get me wrong. He's 52 years old, and he's amazing. He did incredible. I love RVD. What people don't know is that RVD has been suffering from CTE lately. Was it necessary for RVD to be in that ring tonight, knowing the prior concussions he's had? Supposedly he's got CTE. And is it worth it, is my say. And if you saw how he looked in the ring, all right. It looked like they protected him. Thank God. It looked like they definitely did what they needed it to do to make everything go fine. So RVD was not put in like real danger out there. But it also calls into question the safety from AEW. And we get this all the time about WWE. So before anybody starts saying, whoa, wait a minute, what do you mean? No, I know what you mean. I know what's going on. I get it. But I just wanted it to bring it to light more than anything else. So that's all. I'm just going to say what I need to say, and I'll just leave it there. Next up we had was Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus the Lucha Bros, and it was Moxley and Castagnoli winning in 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give this about 3.5 stars on this one. I mean, this was a solid tag team match with these two, and yeah, no surprise with Moxley and Castagnoli going over, and yeah, they continue to dominate AEW especially with as members of the Blackpool Combat Club. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's your Sledge.
3.5 stars, solid match. I mean, it was a good fight. I could even go 3 3/4 if you want to. No arguments with me. It was a hard work fight. Everybody did what they needed it to do. And yeah, it was a very good matchup. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
3.5 stars for me. Good physical match. It saw the heels use punishing strikes to counter the speed and agility of their opponents, and then when they needed it, they resorted to the demasking of Penta to steal a win. Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli are more intense and physical than ever. Quite the statement considering their previous work, and it'll be interesting to see where their story is going ahead of All In. Who steps up to them? What match on the Wembley card awaits? Lucha Bros fought fire with fire, attacking Castagnoli and Moxley from behind to start the bout. The heels unmasked Penta, making it easier for Jon Moxley to score the win with a roll-up. And Rey Fenix delivered a moonsault plancha to the floor and immediately grasped his knee. Hopefully he's okay. So solid 3.5 stars. You can make an argument for 3 3/4 if you wanted, but it's definitely in that area. So there's no question about that. So MF, let's move on.
All right. Main event on this one was the women. Yeah, the AEW women's title on the line. The brand new champion Hikaru Shida going up against Anna Jay, winner of the bout in 8 minutes and 45 seconds, and still the AEW women's champion Hikaru Shida. All right. You know, there's been a lot of negativity, a lot of fans jumping on wrestling about giving women a chance. Well, AEW heard you by giving Hikaru Shida and Anna Jay the main event spot. However, not the greatest main event. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, but probably not worthy of a Dynamite main event match. I'll give it 2.5 stars. I thought it was a solid match, but I feel like it was good. It was good, a solid. They gave it a great effort, but I just don't feel like it was worthy of a main event. So sorry. I think they should have done Lucha Bros, Moxley, and Castagnoli as the main event. That would have been a better main event than this. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. The match was solid enough, but the commercial break right in the heart of it hurt it significantly. Both women worked hard. The commentary team did a strong job of putting over the champion in particular, but the finish was awkward and left even Excalibur searching for an explanation as to what Angelo Parker and Matt Menard were attempting to do during the deciding fall. Hikaru Shida now heads to All In at Wembley, where she will defend her AEW Women's Championship against Toni Storm and 2 other women determined in upcoming qualifying matches. Those matches include Saraya versus Sky Blue this Friday night on Rampage, and Dr. Britt Baker DMD versus Penelope Ford on next week's edition of Dynamite. 2 weeks in a row, 2 women's main events. It is a welcome change, but it would have been nice to have this organically and originally without it being the response to online criticisms about the company's use of its talented women's division. Anna Jay, Daddy Magic, and Cool and Ange may not be part of the JAS anymore, but their loyalty to each other is a nice touch, I guess. So 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, solid match here, and Hikaru Shida now heads to Wembley along with Toni Storm, and we will have 2 other qualifying matches: Saraya versus Sky Blue Friday night on Rampage, and then Britt Baker versus Penelope Ford next week, and then we'll have a fatal 4-way match for the AEW Women's Championship at All In at Wembley.
Yeah, I mean, 2.5 stars. Not the. I know people have been, like you said, they've been complaining about the women not getting a spotlight. I mean, they got the main event, but Fletch is right. This match wasn't worthy of the main event. I think it should have been Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli against the Lucha Bros. That's a worthy main event. This one here, I mean, it was good, but not the greatest. So, yep. So 2.5 stars. It's yours, Fletch.
All right, and now we lead off with the overall review, and lo and behold, Anthony Florio, it's yours, front and center. You lead off.
As it should be. This was a solid show with some quality promo segments, none more impressive or as hot as the one featuring Adam Cole and MJF. That storyline has been head and shoulders above everything else AEW has produced of late, and this week was no different. Though the feud between Darby Allin and Mogul Embassy is one that should challenge it if the story can sustain the edge and emotion it has to this point. The in-ring was weaker than most episodes, but Lucha Bros versus Blackpool Combat Club stood out as a banger of a match, so there was that. We have a clearer idea of what the All-In card might look like, though, and for that reason and those above, I think it's an above-average show. Give it about 7.5 for me. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 7. I'll give it a 7. I mean, there are definitely some things I thought that could have been better, but all in all, I thought it was a good show. So nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
I'll go 7.5. I think it was definitely incredible and everything else. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a really good job with it. And all right, we're done. We're out of here. So on Saturday night is another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. We're back to the usual. SmackDown, AEW Collision, and then on Monday we do it all over again with Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. Anthony will have, of course, the traditional. He'll have Monday Night Raw. He's got his Tony's Take, and then we go on through. We're getting closer and closer. I do know. I think it's the 24th. And then yes, the big 3 on Saturday night as well. Yeah, we basically it's semifinals. So I think this is week number. It's week 8 or week 9. I gotta get the schedule. I believe this is it. This is the final regular season week. Week 9 is playoffs, and then week 10 we go to the O2 to decide the champions. So there's a lot coming up. We'll wait and see how it plays out. So we're out of here. We're done. So for Michael Bullock, for the birthday boy, Anthony Flair, happy birthday, Tony. And for all of us.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much indeed, MF. And
happy birthday, Florio.
Thank you very much, Bullock. And yes, and of course, I want to thank each and every one of you out there who took the time to wish me a happy birthday message on Facebook and all that. And I'm now in that exclusive club now. I'm in the 40 club now. So
there you are.
Where I joined MF. MF, joined it at the end of April this year. The 3 of us, we got together along with a couple of other friends for a nice little gathering there. And MF and Bullock will be joining me and select members of my family this Sunday for a special birthday gathering for me. So very much looking forward to it. It's going to be a great afternoon and evening on Sunday. It's going to be great. I can't wait for it. And man, 40, unbelievable. So I thank you all so very much for the birthday messages, for all the love that was shown to me today. I mean, you are the best. I love you all, and I'm grateful for all of you. And I wish you all many blessings and so much more. Thank you.
All right. Well said, Florio. All right, guys, we're out of here. So for Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher, saying so long, everybody, and we'll see you guys on Saturday.